The Choco Taco wasn't just an ice cream treat, it was a culinary miracle. A frozen Frankenstein's monster of a dessert that dared to ask, what if a taco but ice cream? And for nearly 40 years, the answer was always yes, absolutely. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't gourmet, but the Choco Taco's unique design was the ice cream sandwich we'd all been dreaming of. But now, it's gone. Discontinued, discarded, like an empty wrapper on a hot summer day. So what happened? How did the coolest taco in town get freezer burned? Well, today we're unwrapping the stone-cold death of the Choco Taco. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel and leave a comment letting us know what other cool treats you'd like to hear about next. The Choco Taco wasn't created at a Mexican restaurant, despite the name. It was born in Philadelphia in 1983. The inventor was Alan Drazen, a former ice cream truck driver turned product manager at the Jack and Jill Ice Cream Company. Drazen wasn't some Willy Wonka-type eccentric. He was a pragmatist. The company needed a unique product to stand out in a saturated market of strawberry shortcake bars, generic eclairs, and cartoon popsicles with gumball eyes that looked like they'd seen some things. At that time, Mexican cuisine was exploding as a trend. Fast casual chains like Chi-Chi's were booming, and Taco Bell was slinging enchiritos to the masses. So Alan Drazen did what any brilliant food innovator would do. He said, let's make a taco, but make it ice cream. And thus, the Choco Taco was born. Originally, it was exclusive to ice cream trucks. You know, the kind you'd chase down barefoot with $1 clenched in your fist. These weren't available in supermarkets or restaurants. They were summer only, and they were earned. So for many of us, the Choco Taco isn't just a snack, it's a core memory. Initially, the Choco Taco stayed loyal. Jack and Jill was a regional distributor, so most people outside the East Coast had no idea what a Choco Taco was. But that changed in 1989, when Good Humor and its parent company, Unilever, bought Gold Bond, the Wisconsin manufacturer who produced the special taco-shaped waffle shells. Within a few years, Choco Tacos exploded into convenience stores, school lunches, warehouse clubs, and yes, even Taco Bell. In fact, a lot of people still incorrectly believe Taco Bell invented the Choco Taco, but we'll get to that in a bit. By 1996, Choco Tacos were being promoted at supermarket trade shows as America's coolest taco, which is both literally and figuratively true. The packaging also got an upgrade. In 1999, they introduced metallized polypropylene wrappers, which are a string of science words that helped preserve the shell and gave it a longer shelf life. And somewhere in all this, the light ice cream Choco Taco recipe was born, partly due to Taco Bell's demands for lower fat options. Between 2002 and 2012, the Choco Taco hit its peak both in terms of cultural ubiquity and brand experimentation. It wasn't just a frozen novelty anymore. It was the frozen novelty, a rite of passage, a reward for a good report card, a currency in the cafeteria black market. And while the Choco Taco never got the same television ad push as the Klondike bar, it did ride the wave of early internet nostalgia. In 2005, College Humor ran a parody sketch comparing the Choco Taco to the pinnacle of civilization, and memes began circulating that portrayed it as a forgotten king of desserts. On Reddit, a 2011 thread titled "Remember the Choco Taco?" got over 20,000 upvotes, with thousands of comments waxing poetic about finding them at Little League games, 7-Eleven runs, and after-school halls. This groundswell of millennial nostalgia led to several spin-offs. Mini Choco Tacos were released in 2006, tiny one-bite versions sold in 6-packs. Adorable and dangerously easy to binge. Then we had the Choco Taco with Caramel Swirl, a 2009 limited edition release with caramel fudge instead of standard chocolate. The delicious variant was quietly phased out after a year because you don't always have to mess with the best. Choco Taco with chocolate ice cream appeared briefly in 2010 in select markets, complete with chocolate ice cream, dark fudge swirl, and a darker chocolate shell. Finally, we got the giant Choco Taco. Yes, this existed. Marketed for ice cream trucks and food service, it was almost double the size of a normal one and weighed in at over 8 ounces. A true monster for real dessert warriors. Choco Tacos became a top-selling novelty item, available in single packs, 4-packs, and even bulk. So what happened? How do you go from over 1 billion sold to discontinued? True to its near-mythic popularity, there was a lot of misinformation about the demise of the Choco Taco when it finally fell from grace. So what really happened? Well, a few things actually. First, distribution got weird. Jack and Jill, Good Humor, Breyers, Klondike, and others were folded into the same corporate juggernaut, Unilever. And with that consolidation came a focus on margins. Suddenly, the Choco Taco wasn't a quirky little treat made with love. It was an item on a spreadsheet. And spreadsheets don't have taste buds or warm and fuzzy memories, just cold, hard facts. Second, the ice cream truck ecosystem collapsed. The days of kids chasing vans we should never have been allowed near have dwindled severely. We made a video about it. There were fewer independent vendors, less demand, and fewer chances for kids to discover the Choco Taco in the wild. Third, consumer tastes shifted. Premium ice cream brands like Ben & Jerry's and Talenti, also owned by Unilever by the way, became the darlings of the freezer aisle. Meanwhile, Choco Taco quietly got less shelf space, fewer supermarket placements, less marketing. The final blow to our tantalizing taco treat was the pandemic. In 2022, Unilever dropped the bombshell announcement that the Choco Taco was being discontinued to meet unprecedented demands across our portfolio, which meant tough decisions had to be made. In other words, to recoup losses incurred by COVID, companies had to maximize profits per unit of shelf space, and the Choco Taco wasn't doing the numbers it needed to stay on the team. The backlash was immediate. Social media exploded with eulogies and memes. Reddit founder Alexis Ohanian offered to buy the rights. Senator Chris Murphy joked about invoking the Defense Production Act. Even Rick and Morty worked in a Choco Taco joke when they finally woke from their seize-the-day sleep, only to be most upset about the cancellation of the Choco Taco.
They killed the Choco Taco!
Suddenly, everyone was talking about the treat they hadn't tried in years, but still deeply loved. That same year, Taco Bell and Portland-based ice cream legend Salt and Straw teamed up to create an artisanal Choco Taco tribute. It was a cinnamon ancho ice cream taco in a waffle shell, dipped in single-origin chocolate, topped with toasted brown rice, and served with sauce packets. It was a heartfelt tribute, but it wasn't the same. Cold Stone did one too, but only for 1 week. And while a possible comeback has been teased, there are no current plans to bring the Choco Taco back from the freezer aisle beyond the veil. Do we believe them? Let's just say we've had this headache before, usually by taking too big of a Choco Taco bite. But a tongue on the roof of your mouth won't get rid of this brain freeze of sorrow. Being discontinued hasn't erased the Choco Taco from our hearts. There are bootleg versions, TikTok recipes, boutique creations by shops like Salt and Straw or Cold Stone. Or you can pay $400 for one on eBay if you've truly lost all hope. But the OG Choco Taco is gone, at least for now. Still, it lives on in stories, in memes, in nostalgic tributes by fancy chefs and regretful social media posts from aging millennials who can still remember what it felt like to get one from the ice cream truck.
You got Choco Tacos?
Like so many great things, the Choco Taco wasn't perfect. It was slightly soggy. The chocolate was delicious, but suspicious. The peanuts fell off too easily, but it never did us wrong, unless you ate it too fast. So the next time you see an ice cream truck or stare into the void of a freezer aisle where a truly inspired dessert used to tread, spare a thought for the Choco Taco. That unique look, the distinct wrapper, the bite that gave you everything at once. Cone, fudge, vanilla, chocolate, peanut. You weren't just eating ice cream, you were eating history. Do you miss the Choco Taco? Or is there another ice cream truck mainstay you'd like to make a comeback? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.